Before then, if I need to somewhat isolate yourself from your perspective and from your stance, probably like leaving yourself and being outside completely in this particular question. If look at the vibrancy, the youthfulness, and the influence of Mr. Shure and his huge following on social media, and in Nigeria, probably the most youngest person who contested the president election in 2019. If you were the man at the top of affairs in the Department of State Services, the DSS, how would you have tackled this issue, hearing the word revolution now? Notwithstanding the fact that today's August 5 El Zakzaki issue will be visited in Kaduna State, and this protest that Mr. Shure is calling for is around the whole country. If you were in the shoes of the DSS helm of affairs, what would be your strategy in tackling this?
Like I said, I probably would have taken the same action. But I am just saying now that if we have been consistent and preventively responsible to the issues in the land, we won't come to the state of crisis. We are in a state of crisis in Nigeria, and in public relations, in crisis management,
you would have done the same
or reactive.
You would have done the
same, but in a manner that does not suggest an affront. Look at the time he was arrested, what we are alleging now. I mean, in this same country, a governor was caught packing dollars into his Bavariga with videos and everything, and we explained it out. What we are saying is that DSS has done the right thing by saying, Shure, let's bring you. You are the arrowhead. But the arrowhead is just the arrowhead. The arrow is still there. There are Nigerians who are asking questions.
Okay,
even if we don't allow them to come to the streets, a movement has started. And the issues that are springing up this movement should concern the government.
Fine.
If you don't solve those problems, we are going to continue like this.
Let's deviate a little.
Nelson Mandela, sir,
okay,
spent 27 years in prison. He was not the only South African. Just to deliver his nation from apartheid. Is it well with Nigeria as it is? Those are the big questions.
Okay, now let's deviate a little. Now you talked about inconsistency in the fight against insurgency, in the fight against maybe people will try to set the nation on fire and driven the country to the fringe. Some persons threaten government and the government is mute about it. Other persons going about the same thing or alleged to be the same thing, and they've been rounded up. Now, where does the legislature come in this issue? Why does it seem like in Nigeria the three organs of government, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, that are at the same pedestal in governance? Why does it seem like one organ of that government seem to be superior than others in Nigeria? What is the position of the legislative arm of government in cases such as this?
I'm also impressed by the impact of the arms of government. Let me put it that way. In the National Assembly, we have 109 senators, 360 members of the House of Representatives to represent the people. But I will tell you some things I have observed that worried me. I don't know if you are worried about it. Is that the sense of value in a decent society appear to have been massively eroded. Recently, the House of Senate was busy screening ministerial nominees, and about 75 human beings were killed in Borno State in gruesome circumstances within that period, and it appeared as if nothing happened in Nigeria. I'm disappointed in that, and that's what we are saying. What are the elements of democracy? What are the elements of good governance? What is the purpose of government? You see, and some will be quick to say that they appear to be far above the circumstances in the land now, but they are not so far away. The senator from my own locality came out to the media to say that he could no longer travel to our town. I just came back from there recently because of kidnappers and things like that. So there are issues in the land, but maybe some are now protected, but they have to return to that society, or they remain where they are, and they cannot remain there forever. And that is why some of us are clamoring, can we have a sane society in which we all locate our businesses and prosper, rather than all this? So the point now is that if you place Nigeria on the evaluation machine of the United Nations Sustainable Goals, development goals that will be evaluated at by year 2030, that talks about zero tolerance for hunger, can we say that we have food security in Nigeria now? That talks about a decent environment. Can we say we have a decent environment that talks about, power, talking about electricity, energy, affordable things like that? Or can we say that the spirit of governance, according to our constitution, is manifested? So when you look at all these issues,
yes,
somebody must ask a question. And I think the movement that is starting now is like the moment of I have a dream in America. It was not the man that started the dream that achieved the dream. Barack Obama, years after, became a black American president in the US. What is the name of the presidential office and lodge in the US? White House. It is intentional. So we should prevent this movement. There are several agitations in the country, and we expect that the government will come together and begin to address these issues effectively, because one of the concerns of this movement is incompetent governance. Do we, from the resource we have on ground, if you were to be like an Aliko Dangote or the chairman of a big bank in Nigeria, and you are evaluating your returns on investment, will you say that with the resources pumped into the management of this country, that where we are now, we are making profit?
Let me bring you
or
back.
running on a loss?